talk about the jQuery and the JavaScript library. So what is the jQuery? So it's a powerful JavaScript library that simplifies common JavaScript tasks, and we can access parts of a page. So for example, using the cascading style sheet or certain expressions, for example, XPath. It allows us to modify the appearance of a page, to change the user interaction with the page, to alter the contents of a page, we can also add animations, and provide Ajax support. So jQuery is a powerful library that allows us to do a number of tasks. Let's look at an introductory example code. Here's a simple page that shows cities of the world, Paris and Sydney. So it's the HTML code. Then the body starts and there's a header called Cities of the World. Then we have the first city, Paris, and several descriptions of that city. And then the next one. So this DT tag allows us to put an indentation. So Paris, and then what comes underneath is indented. And then we have Sydney, and underneath the text is indented. Now, if we would like to add some styling to this, we can say for header 1, font size is 2.5, for example. We can modify the margins. We can tell if we would like the font to be italic, bold, underlined, or something else. We can also specify colors by using this dot emphasize property. So the basic jQuery allows us to select part of a document so that we can perform certain operation on that part. For example, the header or a certain paragraph or parts of the document. The way we would create a jQuery object is by using a function. So we would say $, and then the function is enclosed in the brackets, and then we say what we want to create. So for example, DT, that was the indented item where we had listed Paris and Sydney. And so all the DT elements will become part of this jQuery object if we use this notation here. So $, parentheses, and then we want to say what part of the document or the HTML code we want this jQuery object to address. So in that sense, the jQuery object is a wrapper. It's a wrapper because it's like a container, contains a specific part of the code that we would like to address. Okay, so the .add class method will add a class attribute as we have seen with the cascading style sheets. We can have a class. So if we say .add class, that's its cascading style sheet construct that will provide a visual architecture that can be independent from the element structures. So specific sections of code will be addressed by this CSS construct or class, while the rest of them will be unaffected. So the construct that we were using was we had the $DT, so that is the jQuery object, part of the code that we are addressing. We want to style or provide colors, font, bold, italic, or whatever we would like to do. And then add class. To create a cascading style sheet construct. And then we can tell the name of the class. In this case is emphasize. So any of the elements between the DT tags would be now part of this emphasize class. If we would like to remove the class, we can do so with the .remove class method. So once this class is created, we can call functions on it, to do the styling that we want or do really whatever we want. So, for example, this is our jQuery object. For the DT tag, we have added the class called emphasize. And then we can tell what we want to do with this class. So, for example, once the document is loaded, we would call this function to perform certain styling or formatting using our class. So we can put a function and call this function once the document is loaded. So the jQuery provides an independent scheduling point when we load the document. And we can specify what we want to do in our function. So earlier here we had the DT tag for the jQuery object. Now we put in the entire document. Once the document is loaded already, that was pink. Once the document is loaded already, we can call our function on it. Do the emphasize function. We can also specify what we want this function to be doing. So if we say .ready and then give a new function, in here we can call our class that we created earlier. So jQuery object, add class. Emphasize was the name of our class. Within the HTML document, we can say that we're using a script and provide the source file for the script, in this case jQuery.js or test.js. So we have seen we can create the class. And then once this class is created, we have to give the name of the class and then dot element or function that we want to access. So if P is the element name and class is the class name, then p.class will be, by saying p.class, we will be able to access the P element within that class. The element might have children. If we want to access the child of this element, we say P greater than sign and then the name of the child. Let's look at some filters. If we have, for example, several paragraphs, we can say P first paragraph, to access the first paragraph. We can say P last paragraph to access the last paragraph. We can access specific items within a list. So the list will be denoted with li to say that this is a list. And again, we can say first item or last item within a list. If we have a bunch of links, A is for a ref, which means a reference or a hyperlink. And then we can tell which number link do we want to access by putting it in parentheses. Now this says that this is the fourth link, and that is because, but we have number 3 here, but that is because they start from 0. We can access paragraphs by saying give me only the even numbered paragraphs, by saying P even. So if we would like to access every other paragraph, we can tell it to access the odd numbered paragraph or an even numbered paragraph by using this notation P even or P odd. So every other paragraph. This GT means go to. We can go to a specific link or a number of positions off the current one where we located. So GT means go to line, for example, line number or link number or position number. So every link after the fourth link, like we said, 3 means fourth link because it starts at 0. So this will be every link after the fourth link. And the next thing is every link up to the fourth link. We can search for a specific keyword within the links by saying a column contains, and then give the keyword for which we are searching. So for example, the word click, if we say a column contains click, then we will access links that contain the word click in it. So you can now see why this is named query. So it is named query because this is pretty much like when we send queries to databases. We are retrieving specific objects from the database that satisfy our query. So, for example, give me the first paragraph, the last paragraph, give me a paragraph from 4 to 10 or from 4 to the end, or give me all the hyperlinks that contain the word click. So this is very much like when we send a query to a database. Give me all customers of age 23, or give me all students that are in the Dev 640 class, for example. So that's why it is named query, because it allows us to ask this kind of question and they not retrieve the results that satisfy this question, or that are an answer to our question. When we talk about chaining, it means if they are parents and children and we can move up and down the hierarchy, that's called a chain. So here we have seen give me the links that contain the word click. Over here we say give me the links that contain escape. That are in the parent. And then so we can go up and down between parents and children like this. And then let's look at events. So earlier we have seen we can call a function when the document loads. So the loading of the document is an event in a sense. So on load, call the doEmphasize function. This right here is an event. When this event occurs, this means the document is loaded, we call the doEmphasize function. That's just one example of an event. There could be other events as well, such as if a person will click anything, if some sort of change occurs, for example, change of color, resize, move an object, click on anything, whether that's a button, hyperlink, or a picture. So these are events, and when the particular event happens, we can call a function. That is, what do we want to do when the user clicks this link? We can specify what we want to do into the function. So when the user clicks on the particular link or button or picture, we will call this function. So the function can, for example, change the color to red color. So in this way, when a user clicks specific hyperlink that is specified right here, A is href, that is the specific hyperlink. When the user clicks this link, we will call this function, which changes the color to red. Or we can tell anything else that we want to do. We can play sound, load a different picture, or take the user to another page. So it is up to us of what we want to do. Example play sound, change the picture, load another page. The idea here is that when event occurs, we can perform the function of our choice. So the jQuery allows us to pretty much send queries by retrieving objects that satisfy our query or our question, and it also allows us to access the cascading style sheet and change certain properties. So cascading style sheet will have property and a value such as colors, speeds, certain styling of bold, italic, or location of a picture on the screen. And we can modify those properties by accessing this style sheet through the jQuery wrapper. So in summary, the jQuery is a wrapper like an object that encompasses our styling, and we can create a class and call functions and properties within this class. It allows us to perform certain functions on events, and also, as we mentioned, to search or query the document for specific properties that we are interested in. Okay, so that is all that we have today for the jQuery.